Everyone, let me ask you a question. How often do we wish we could live a life full of wisdom, happiness, and purpose? What if I told you that the secret to transforming your life isn't some complicated formula, but just a few books that can change the way you think, feel, and act? Today, I'm going to share with you 5 books that are not just books. They are keys to a better life, lessons that could guide you through challenges, and companions that will inspire your journey every single day. So, get ready to take notes, because your life is about to change. Books are not just ink on paper or stories to pass the time. They are living mentors waiting patiently on our shelves, ready to guide us if we are willing to listen. Every page holds a piece of wisdom, every chapter carries an experience, and every paragraph can shift the way we perceive the world. Imagine having the ability to learn from the lives of those who have walked paths before us, to understand their struggles and their failures and their triumphs without ever leaving your room. That is the magic of a book. When we read, we are not simply consuming words, we are engaging in a conversation with the greatest minds across time and space. A book can challenge our beliefs, open our hearts, and stretch our minds beyond the limits we have unknowingly set for ourselves. It can teach us patience when we are hasty, courage when we are fearful, and clarity when our thoughts are clouded. Books remind us that we are never truly alone, that every human emotion has been felt, every challenge has been faced, and every joy has been celebrated before us. They provide perspective, showing us that our struggles, while unique, are part of a larger human experience that connects us all. In a world that is constantly rushing, books invite us to slow down, reflect, and understand the deeper truths of life. They are more than entertainment, they are tools, companions, and guiding lights that illuminate the path toward wisdom, compassion, and purpose. Reading a book is an act of courage and curiosity, a choice to seek understanding and growth. And when we allow books to influence us deeply, they have the power to transform not just how we think, but how we live, how we interact with others, and how we approach every challenge and opportunity that comes our way. The knowledge contained within books becomes a mirror reflecting our own potential, a map showing us where we can go, and a mentor whispering the lessons of those who have journeyed before us. To embrace reading is to embrace life in its fullest, richest, and most profound form. When we talk about self-discovery, we are talking about the journey of understanding who we truly are beneath the layers of expectations, fears, and social conditioning. It is not something that happens overnight. It is a continuous process of reflection, introspection, and learning. The right book can act as a guide on this journey, helping us ask the questions we often avoid and confront the truths we tend to ignore. It teaches us to observe our thoughts without judgment, to recognize our strengths without arrogance, and to acknowledge our weaknesses without shame. A book on self-discovery often opens doors to hidden parts of ourselves that we may never have realized existed, the dreams we have suppressed, the talents we have overlooked, and the passions that have been waiting quietly for our attention. It encourages us to pause in a world that constantly pushes us to rush, to breathe, and to listen to the quiet voice within that knows what truly matters. Through its stories and insights, it helps us understand our emotions, our desires, and our purpose. showing us that life is not merely about surviving, but about living meaningfully. It can teach us resilience, showing us that setbacks are not failures but lessons, and that the journey towards self-awareness is filled with growth at every step. Self-discovery through books also reminds us that we are unique, yet connected to a larger human experience, and that understanding ourselves better allows us to connect more deeply with others. By exploring our inner world, we begin to make choices aligned with our true selves, rather than reacting to external pressures or societal norms. A book that guides us in self-discovery becomes a mirror, reflecting our authentic self, a compass, pointing us toward our purpose, and a mentor, whispering wisdom from those who have walked similar paths. It teaches patience, humility, and courage, encouraging us to embrace who we are while striving to become who we are meant to be. Ultimately, the journey of self-discovery is a lifelong adventure, and the right books are companions that illuminate the way, helping us navigate the complexities of life with clarity, confidence, and compassion. Relationships are the threads that weave the fabric of our lives, and yet so often we navigate them blindly, reacting rather than understanding, speaking before listening, and expecting connection without effort. A book that teaches about relationships and emotional intelligence opens our eyes to the subtle, powerful forces that shape our interactions with others, showing us that the quality of our connections directly impacts our happiness, success, and sense of fulfillment. It teaches us to listen deeply, not just to words, but to the emotions, needs, and intentions that lie beneath them. Through stories, examples, and practical exercises, such a book helps us recognize patterns of behavior, both in ourselves and in those around us, that either strengthen or weaken our bonds. It encourages empathy, guiding us to see the world through another person's perspective, which is often the first step in resolving conflicts and building trust. Emotional intelligence, when cultivated, allows us to respond rather than react, to communicate with clarity and compassion, and to create relationships that are resilient and nurturing. A book on this topic can also reveal the ways we unconsciously sabotage our connections through pride, fear, or misunderstandings, and it offers strategies to transform these habits into opportunities for growth. It reminds us that every relationship, whether personal, professional, or casual, is an opportunity to practice patience, kindness, and understanding. The lessons extend beyond interactions. They shape how we handle criticism, manage disagreements, and express love and appreciation. Such a book demonstrates that strong relationships are not built on perfection or luck, but on intentionality, self-awareness, and consistent effort. It teaches us that by improving how we relate to others, we simultaneously deepen our understanding of ourselves, because every connection is a mirror reflecting our values, our triggers, and our capacity for compassion. Ultimately, reading about relationships and emotional intelligence equips us with the tools to cultivate meaningful, lasting bonds, to navigate conflicts with grace, and to create a network of support, love, and trust that enriches every aspect of our lives. It empowers us to transform not just our relationships, but our very approach to life, making every interaction an opportunity for growth, connection, and shared humanity. Spiritual growth and mindfulness are not just abstract concepts. They are the foundations of a life lived with clarity, purpose, and inner peace. In the hustle and bustle of modern life, we are constantly bombarded by distractions, noise, and the pressure to achieve, and it is easy to lose touch with the quiet, reflective part of ourselves that truly understands what matters. A book that focuses on spiritual growth and mindfulness acts as a gentle guide, showing us how to slow down, observe our thoughts and emotions, and reconnect with the deeper truths that often go unnoticed. It teaches us that true happiness does not come from external achievements or possessions, but from cultivating awareness, gratitude, and a sense of presence in every moment. Through practical exercises, stories, and reflections, such a book encourages us to practice mindfulness, not as a fleeting trend, but as a daily habit that transforms the way we perceive the world. It shows us how to respond to challenges with equanimity, how to navigate stress with calmness, and how to cultivate a sense of compassion and understanding toward ourselves and others. Spiritual growth, as explained in these books, is not about adhering to rigid rules or doctrines. It is about exploring our inner landscape, understanding our values, and aligning our actions with our highest truths. It invites us to reflect on our purpose, to question what truly matters, and to live in a way that honors our authentic self. By reading such a book, we learn to quiet the incessant chatter of the mind, to listen to our intuition, and to develop resilience in the face of life's uncertainties. It teaches that mindfulness is not a destination, but a journey, one that requires patience, consistency, and a willingness to embrace the present moment fully. The lessons extend beyond personal growth, influencing how we relate to the world around us, how we communicate, and how we approach relationships, work, and challenges. In essence, a book on spiritual growth and mindfulness provides a roadmap to inner freedom, showing us that peace, clarity, and joy are not found outside but within. It empowers us to live consciously, act purposefully, and cultivate a life that is rich not just in achievements, but in meaning, connection, and profound fulfillment. Success and resilience are two sides of the same coin, yet many of us misunderstand what they truly mean. Success is not simply achieving a goal or accumulating wealth. It is the ability to navigate life with purpose, determination, and integrity. Resilience is not just enduring hardships, it is the capacity to rise stronger, wiser, and more determined after every setback. A book that focuses on success and resilience becomes a mentor, showing us that life will inevitably bring challenges, failures, and moments of doubt. But how we respond to these moments defines the course of our journey. It teaches us that setbacks are not the end of the road, but stepping stones that carry lessons vital for growth. Such a book guides us in developing habits that cultivate discipline, focus, and perseverance, emphasizing that small, consistent actions often lead to monumental outcomes over time. It shows that resilience, built not by avoiding difficulties, but by confronting them with courage, learning from mistakes, and refusing to let temporary failures determine our long-term trajectory. Through real life stories of individuals who overcame immense odds, these books inspire us to adopt a mindset of possibility rather than limitation. They encourage us to see challenges as opportunities, failures as feedback, and obstacles as invitations to innovate and improve. Moreover, they illustrate that true success is holistic, encompassing mental clarity, emotional balance, strong relationships, and personal integrity alongside achievements and recognition. By reading such books, we learn to cultivate optimism without naivety, determination without rigidity, and confidence without arrogance. They remind us that resilience is a muscle, strengthened through practice, self-reflection, and unwavering commitment to growth. The knowledge and insights gained from these books are not abstract. They are actionable tools that can be applied daily, shaping how we respond to difficulties, make decisions, and pursue our goals. Ultimately, a book on success and resilience teaches us that life's greatest victories often emerge from the moments we thought we could not endure, that every challenge carries the seed of transformation, and that with persistence, self-awareness, and courage, we have the power to create a life that is not only successful by external measures, but deeply fulfilling, meaningful, and resilient in every sense. Every perspective we gain from reading is a window into a world we might never have experienced otherwise, a lens that allows us to see life from angles we hadn't considered and to appreciate the diversity of human thought, culture, and emotion. Books have the unique power to expand our understanding far beyond our personal experiences, introducing us to ideas, values, and challenges that broaden our minds and deepen our empathy. When we read, we step into the shoes of others, living their joys, sorrows, triumphs, and failures as if they were our own, and in doing so, we cultivate a richness of perspective that shapes how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. This expanded awareness helps us navigate our own lives with greater clarity, patience, and compassion, because we begin to understand that our way of thinking is not the only way, and that every person we encounter carries a story, a struggle, and a truth that deserves recognition. Books also encourage critical thinking, allowing us to question assumptions, challenge biases, and refine our beliefs with insight rather than impulse. They invite us to explore complex issues with nuance, to appreciate the shades of gray in a world that often seems polarized, and to develop a deeper sense of discernment in our decisions. Furthermore, reading broadens our horizons by exposing us to cultures, philosophies, and histories that we might never encounter firsthand, creating a global perspective that fosters empathy, tolerance, and open-mindedness. By engaging with diverse narratives, we learn to navigate differences, respect varied viewpoints, and approach conflicts and collaborations with wisdom and understanding. The perspectives gained through books are cumulative, layering upon each other to create a mental and emotional toolkit that equips us to respond to life's challenges with creativity, insight, and resilience. They remind us that learning is a lifelong process, that no matter how much we think we know, there is always more to discover, and that the pursuit of knowledge is itself a journey toward personal growth and self-mastery. Ultimately, the power of perspective that books provide is transformative, shaping not only how we think, but how we feel, how we act, and how we connect with the world around us, turning every encounter into an opportunity for understanding, empathy, and meaningful action. Knowledge without application is like a seed that is never planted. It has potential, but it will never grow. Reading a book gives us access to wisdom, ideas, and insights, but the true power of that knowledge emerges only when we take what we have learned and apply it to our own lives. A book can teach us about success, resilience, relationships, or mindfulness, but unless we implement those lessons, they remain abstract concepts rather than catalysts for transformation. Application is the bridge between learning and living. It is what turns theory into practice and understanding into experience. When we apply the lessons from books, we begin to see tangible changes in our mindset, our habits, and the way we respond to challenges. We learn to make better decisions, communicate more effectively, and approach life with intention rather than reaction. Application also reinforces the learning itself, as putting ideas into practice allows us to internalize them, adapt them to our unique circumstances, and truly understand their value. Furthermore, it teaches us accountability and responsibility, showing us that personal growth is not a passive process, but an active one that requires effort, reflection, and perseverance. A book becomes transformative only when we carry its lessons into our daily routines. Whether it is adopting new habits, shifting our attitudes, or making choices aligned with our values and purpose. By applying knowledge, we transform our potential into reality, our intentions into results, and our understanding into wisdom that guides us through life. In essence, reading without action is like staring at a map without ever taking a step. The guidance is there, the road is clear, but the journey never begins. When we commit to applying what we learn, we turn every book into a mentor, every lesson into an opportunity, and every idea into a force that shapes our character, enriches our experiences, and elevates the quality of our lives in ways that are meaningful, lasting, and deeply personal. Consistency is the secret ingredient that transforms small efforts into extraordinary results. Yet it is one of the most overlooked aspects of personal growth and learning. Reading a book once, or even a few times, can provide inspiration, insight, or motivation, but true transformation occurs when we engage with ideas consistently, returning to them, reflecting on them, and integrating them into our daily lives. Consistency creates momentum. It trains our minds to absorb lessons deeply, reinforces habits, and builds the discipline necessary to navigate challenges with patience and perseverance. Without it, even the most profound wisdom risks being forgotten, diluted, or left unused. When we cultivate consistency, whether in reading, practicing mindfulness, improving relationships, or developing skills, we create a foundation that supports growth over the long term. Each small, repeated action compounds, much like drops of water gradually carving a river through solid rock, until eventually the cumulative effect is transformative. Consistency also nurtures resilience, teaching us to stay committed even when motivation wanes, when life becomes chaotic, or when immediate results are not visible. It reminds us that success is rarely the result of a single brilliant idea or moment of inspiration. It is the product of sustained effort, incremental progress, and dedication over time. When we consistently apply what we learn from books, we begin to notice subtle shifts in our thinking, attitudes, and behaviors, which eventually lead to profound changes in how we live our lives. This daily commitment strengthens our character, sharpens our focus, and aligns our actions with our long-term goals and values. Moreover, consistency in learning encourages curiosity and a lifelong love for growth, showing us that every day is an opportunity to improve, to reflect, and to move closer to the person we aspire to become. By embracing consistency, we honor the lessons we have learned, turn knowledge into wisdom, and ensure that the insights we gain are not fleeting sparks, but enduring lights that guide us steadily along the path of meaningful, purposeful, and fulfilled living. Mindful living is one of the most transformative practices we can embrace if we want to live a life of depth, awareness, and true fulfillment. In the rush of modern life, we often move through our days on autopilot, distracted by endless notifications, obligations, and the constant noise of the world around us. We think about what has happened in the past, worry about what may happen in the future, or dwell on thoughts that pull us away from the present moment. Yet, life itself is not found in what has passed or what is yet to come. It exists only in the here and now. Mindful living is the art of paying attention, fully and intentionally, to each moment as it unfolds. It is noticing the details that often go unseen: the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the sound of birds, the rhythm of your own breath, or the subtle emotions that arise within you. It is about being aware of your thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment, and responding to life consciously rather than reacting out of habit or impulse. Practicing mindfulness allows us to cultivate a deep connection with ourselves, others, and the world around us. It transforms ordinary experiences into profound moments of presence and appreciation. When we live mindfully, we become more patient, compassionate, and resilient because we learn to observe challenges without being overwhelmed by them. We begin to recognize patterns in our behavior, understand the motivations behind our choices, and create space for intentional decision making. Mindful living also enhances our relationships, because when we are fully present with others, we listen deeply, respond authentically, and nurture bonds that are built on understanding and respect. It reminds us that every moment is unique and will never return, and that the quality of our lives depends on how attentively and consciously we live each day. By embracing mindfulness, we let go of unnecessary stress, reduce anxiety about the future, and release regrets about the past, grounding ourselves instead in the reality of the present. It allows us to savor life's small joys, to find peace amidst chaos, and to approach each experience with gratitude and curiosity. Mindful living is not merely a technique or a practice. It is a way of life, a commitment to inhabit each moment fully and to honor the gift of being alive. It empowers us to live intentionally, act with purpose, and engage deeply with the people and opportunities around us. Through mindfulness, we discover that life is not about rushing towards some distant goal or fixating on what we lack, but about embracing the richness of the present, cultivating awareness, and finding fulfillment in the simple, beautiful, and fleeting moments that make up our journey. Leaving a legacy is one of the most profound ways to give meaning and purpose to our lives. Yet many of us overlook its importance, thinking that legacy is something reserved for the famous, the wealthy, or the extraordinarily accomplished. The truth is, legacy is not measured by monuments, awards, or public recognition. It is measured by the impact we have on the lives of others, the values we embody, and the memories, lessons, and love we leave behind. Every action we take, every word we speak, and every choice we make contributes to the story we leave behind, shaping the way people remember us and the influence we have on future generations. Leaving a legacy requires awareness of the transient nature of life, understanding that our time here is limited, and recognizing that the opportunities to make a meaningful difference are not infinite. It means living intentionally, making decisions that align with our deepest values, and prioritizing actions that create lasting positive effects on those around us. A legacy can be as simple as the way we treat people, the kindness we show to strangers, the guidance we offer to friends and family, or the love and support we provide in our communities. It can also be reflected in the principles we uphold, the integrity we maintain, and the inspiration we ignite in others to pursue their own potential. To leave a meaningful legacy, we must focus on creating impact today rather than postponing it for an uncertain future. Every small act of courage, compassion, and contribution adds to the larger picture of who we are and what we stand for. It involves teaching, mentoring, and guiding others, not because we expect anything in return, but because we understand that our influence can ripple far beyond our immediate circle. Leaving a legacy is also about embracing responsibility, taking accountability for our actions, making ethical choices, and striving to improve ourselves while lifting others. It reminds us that life is not solely about personal gain, but about enriching the world in ways that outlast our physical presence. When we focus on leaving a legacy, we approach life with purpose, clarity, and a sense of mission, knowing that our time here matters and that the way we live today echoes into tomorrow. It inspires us to live fully, love deeply, and act wisely, ensuring that our presence leaves an indelible mark on the hearts and minds of those we touch. Ultimately, leaving a legacy is about creating a life that resonates beyond the boundaries of time, a life that embodies the values, love, and impact we wish to pass on, and a life that, even when we are gone, continues to inspire, uplift, and guide those who follow. Time is the most precious resource we have, yet it is also the most fleeting and often the most overlooked. Every moment we live is a moment that will never return, and yet we tend to treat time as if it is infinite, believing that there will always be another opportunity, another day, another chance to do what truly matters. We fill our hours with trivial tasks, distractions, and worries about things beyond our control, forgetting that the essence of life is measured not by the quantity of time we have, but by how meaningfully we use it. Each second that passes is an opportunity to love, to forgive, to create, to learn, and to make a difference. Time does not pause for hesitation, procrastination, or indecision. It flows relentlessly, and whether we seize it or let it slip away, life moves forward. Understanding the value of time is the first step toward living intentionally. It is a reminder to prioritize what matters most, to focus on experiences and relationships that bring true fulfillment, and to let go of pursuits that are empty, superficial, or distracting. Time teaches us humility, for it cannot be controlled, slowed, or reclaimed once it is gone. It is impartial, moving steadily for everyone, rich or poor, young or old. Yet how we choose to use it determines the quality and impact of our lives. When we embrace the finite nature of time, we stop postponing love, gratitude, and meaningful actions. We begin to act with urgency, purpose, and awareness, knowing that waiting for the perfect moment is often a way to delay what should be done now. Every conversation, every gesture, Every choice becomes more significant because we understand that time is the canvas on which our lives are painted, and the colors we choose today will define the picture we leave behind. Living with a consciousness of time encourages mindfulness, presence, and intentionality. It helps us prioritize our goals, nurture relationships, and invest in experiences that bring lasting joy and growth. It also reminds us to forgive and to reconcile, to express appreciation, and to pursue passions without delay, because the moments we have with people, opportunities, and life itself are finite. Time is both a gift and a teacher, urging us to act wisely, live fully, and cherish every heartbeat, every breath, and every encounter. When we honor time, we honor life itself, recognizing that each day is a chance to create impact, to grow, and to leave behind something meaningful. In essence, understanding and respecting the value of time transforms the way we live, inspiring us to make every moment count, to act with courage and purpose, and to ensure that when we look back, we see a life well lived, not filled with regrets for wasted hours, but overflowing with memories, achievements, connections, and love that truly mattered. Courage is one of the most essential qualities we can cultivate in life, yet it is often misunderstood. Many people think courage means being fearless, but in reality, courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to act in spite of fear. Life constantly presents challenges, uncertainties, and moments that test our resolve, and it is natural to feel apprehensive, doubtful, or even overwhelmed. Fear can be paralyzing, keeping us trapped in comfort zones, preventing us from pursuing our dreams, speaking our truth, or taking risks that could transform our lives. True courage, however, emerges when we acknowledge that fear exists, but choose to move forward anyway, guided by our values, purpose, and vision. Courage requires honesty with ourselves, the strength to confront difficult truths, and the determination to persevere even when outcomes are uncertain. It is about taking responsibility for our choices, standing up for what is right, and embracing vulnerability, knowing that failure, rejection, or criticism may be part of the journey. Courage is expressed in countless ways: in the quiet decision to forgive, in the effort to help someone in need, in the commitment to pursue a dream despite obstacles, and in the persistence to keep going when the path is arduous. It is not measured by grand gestures alone. The daily acts of bravery, the small steps taken in the face of doubt, and the resilience shown during adversity all contribute to a courageous life. Cultivating courage also requires faith. Faith in ourselves, in our potential, and in the belief that challenges are opportunities for growth and learning. Courage allows us to break free from the limitations imposed by fear, to embrace change, and to live intentionally rather than reactively. When we act courageously, we inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of strength, determination, and hope in the world around us. Life's greatest achievements, deepest connections, and most meaningful experiences often demand courage, for they require us to step beyond what is familiar and comfortable into the unknown. By embracing courage, we empower ourselves to face life's uncertainties with confidence, to take bold steps toward our dreams, and to live authentically in alignment with our values. It is through courage that we grow, that we transform fear into action, and that we create a life of significance, impact, and fulfillment. In essence, courage is not simply a trait, it is a way of living, a commitment to rise above fear, to embrace challenges, and to pursue life with passion, integrity, and unwavering determination. Each courageous decision, no matter how small, builds the foundation for a life that is vibrant, meaningful, and remembered long after we are gone.